Hello Pisces, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, it doesn't cost anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Princess of Pentacles. This is resourcefulness, right? I feel like you're somebody who, you have a lot of potential in you, okay? And I feel like we've been sort of adapting to life in a particular way, okay? Sometimes the Princess of Pentacles is, this realization that there is all of this life underneath the surface, that there is more to meets the eye here. But for whatever reason, this is the reality that we get. This is the life that I'm leading right now. Okay? I want to put this card into a little bit of context. Okay? Let's see what is going, let's see what the potential is, and let's see why or what might be inhibiting us from reaching that potential, or, I don't know. Let's see. We got that Eight of Wands now. There it is. See, there is the potential underneath the surface. And I always say that the Princess of Pentacles, it's sort of on the surface of things, it seems barren, sterile, it seems cold and frigid, right? But the princess really has the potential to transform into the Empress. So you know that this life is down there, right? And I think it's just a matter of perhaps breaking away from some past issues, mobilizing some of our energy. Here we have a Three of Swords, Five of Cups, and we've got a Prince of Swords. Over on the path of the Serpent, we have the world itself. We have there's that Nine of Cups, happiness. We've got the Fool, and we've got the Eight of Pentacles, prudence, patience, right? And attention to details. So this is now the effort putting into our potential to realize our potential. And I think part of that realization, part of the happiness there is really the maintenance of that potential, the growing, the process of growing that potential, right? Of living that happy life. I like this reading very much. I do see that we're sort of getting away from some negativity in the background here. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Tiny Bellschnickel. Cheer or fear, Tiny Bellschnickel is here. And now we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, put your hunch, your prediction, or your guess down in the comments below. All right. Now, let's take a look around the room. Major Arcana. We do have a few, right? We've got the Empress, we've got the Fool, and we've got the universe itself. Okay. We have a little bit of fire. We've got some good water. Okay. We've got some interesting air, and we have really some growth in the physical, in the earth, in the pentacles here. We see that we have a potential, but see with the Princess of Pentacles by itself, this is a potential that is still not realized. It's not manifested. It's still kind of under the surface here. It's in there, but it's not showing itself. It's not growing into existence yet. Well, why? Well, I think that's because of the Three of Swords. I think there is something from your past, as there is for all of us, that has sort of kept us in a little bit of a holding pattern, especially with a Five of Cups here. I think that we we tend to repeat a lot of the feelings that we're used to from our past, from just the way we grew up in childhood and all these different kinds of things, that we have certain negative emotions that we feel right at home with, that we feel kind of, we feel familiar with, they feel comfortable, right? And so we just kind of, we stay contained in this sort of limited life, because that's what we're used to. Okay, but now I see the Five of Cups here as a movement. We're intentionally moving some of this energy around because we don't want to be stuck. We're realizing that a good portion of how we feel today, the negative emotions that we're experiencing right now, aren't really about anything that is necessarily happening right now, but could be tied to our past. Okay, or that we tend to experience a lot of the same negative emotions and maybe focus on them a lot because that's what we've always done. There's a sort of pattern that's been created, right? The Eight of Wands is a card of activity. It's saying quick activity. There is a sense of urgency. And I think the Princess really is saying enough is enough. Enough time has been wasted. It's beyond due, right? It's time that we start manifesting our true potential here, that we get on the ball. This is like that old car's been sitting in the garage for too long now. It's time to start restoring it to its beauty. It's time to really start working on it. Or that you've bought all these art supplies and they're just sitting in the basement. It's like, nah, I got to start doing it. I'm going to start today, right? There's this sense of urgency. It's kind of like, we can't wait any longer. And I don't think we should. I think we need to start doing whatever this is. We need to start doing it now. The Three of Swords in the background there saying, well, yeah, but you're never any good at it. It's not going to be that great. And there's maybe a guilt, or there's a shame, or there's some kind of a feeling of inadequacy, or a disappointment, or there's going to be too much. It's just negative energy, man. Okay, and I think that you're making a conscious effort right now to say, I don't care. I know that isn't real. We know that the Three of Swords is just a function of our memory. It's just a program that we've been running in our system, And if I stop just running that program, if I just choose to acknowledge that is a ghost, that is not a real thing, right? Then I'm going to go into the basement. I'm going to get those art supplies. I'm going to start painting. Or I bought a journal. I'm going to start writing poetry. It's been blank, right, for months. I'm going to start writing now. It's like we've been sitting at the typewriter, ready to write our novel, but there's always some reason, no, I'm not today. I'm not feeling it today. And we sort of get stuck in that Three of Swords, and we end up not doing it. Maybe it's been collecting dust. This is the feeling that, there is something within me that needs to come out. And it's time that I start doing. It's beyond due here. The Eight of Wands becoming a lot of creativity happening all at once, a surge of this explosion of creative energy. Okay, and it's coming out of this Empress. It's coming out of this potential that is within you. This is like you're the best version of yourself down here. Okay, and I think that for whatever reason, now is the time where all of it's going to come rushing forward, and you're gonna pick up the thing that you bought that's sitting in the corner of the room. You're gonna start now. You bought an exercise bike. Now I'm finally gonna start riding it. I feel like this is, and it may not be a specific thing like, a painting or writing or exercise or something. It could just be the idea that, I realize that I'm not the best version of myself right now, that I am not all that I want to be. Okay. With the Princess of Pentacles, we have to be careful, though, because it's a trap of that Three of Swords to tell you that you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. But then every time you try to get better, it's saying, no, you're not going to be nothing, So we want to kind of believe that, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine the way I am. I'm perfectly perfect right now. And you know what? That means that I can do whatever I want. That means that I can pick up the paint and start painting. That there's nothing for me to heal from necessarily, right? And I know that's not always a practical truth, right? But sometimes we have to we have to believe that this Three of Swords has no influence on us, because this is a function of memory. This is us understanding the process of creation on the mental plane. Okay, so by keeping that negative energy back there, this was something that maybe happened every day of your life for your entire life. Well, it doesn't have to happen anymore. This is the idea that we're always creating these states of negative emotion, because that's what we've been trained to do by life. That's for whatever reason we got into that habit. Okay, by pushing this negative energy just a little bit further away from us, and to say, you know what, I can be okay. That doesn't control me. Okay. Whether this was heartbreak, whether this was some issues from childhood or with family or friends or just experiences of life. We all have them. The details are going to be different, but we all have a Three of Swords, right? And if we allow that too much space in our current life, then we're not going to pursue those things that we really are capable of, that we want to do, that we feel a love and a passion for. We're not going to do the creative stuff. We're not going to do we're not going to do those, we're not going to fulfill our aspirations. Okay. And I feel this is a surge of energy that is, with this Five of Cups, we're realizing, I think, that the disappointment of the Five of Cups has nothing to do with, I think, nothing to do with anything in reality. Okay, that we're not a disappointment. We're not disappointing anybody else. That the emotions that we feel on any given day can wash over us like a wave, and they can wash back out again. But there is something very, very strong and pure that remains. And I think it's this fire energy, because looking at the spread here, this is the only fire energy we have. Okay, and I think that this is a de-identification with these emotions and this pattern of emotions, especially with the Three of Swords, because it is a reliving of past trauma that is injuring you in the present moment. But this is something that happened before. This is not anything going on in your life right now in this moment, right, that is upsetting you. Okay? I feel like we have a tendency to experience the world in this kind of a disappointing way, or a negative emotional state, because of things that have happened to us in our past. So these two cards together are saying that we keep reliving these negative emotions because that's what we've learned to do. And this is sort of what we're familiar. This is just it's a pattern that we've gotten stuck in. It feels familiar. It's kind of an emotional home for us. Well, if we get rid of this, all right, if we do something, if we just push this, if we realize that this does not have to influence our life as heavily as it is, what do we have? Well, we've got a potential, we've got creative activity to manifest our potential to become the best version of ourselves. We have ambition. We have a firm belief in ourselves. We have a promise, a commitment that we're making. Right? We have the whole world at our fingertips, right? We realize that we are, we are a perfect component of this world, that we are loved by the universe, right? And that there is nothing wrong with us, right? And we realize the Nine of Cups, we can have physical, financial abundance, mental, emotional satisfaction, spiritual and creative fulfillment. We can live a happy life, right? We don't have to be afraid of starting over, starting something new. We don't have to be afraid of looking foolish. We don't have to be afraid of, trying something that we've never done before, right? Because the Fool is out there. The Fool has, if the Fool is going around the world with these cards over the top of it, well, then it's going to be always self-conscious, always embarrassed, always sort of like, worried that people are looking at me, worried that I'm not doing things right, very self-conscious, a lot of anxiety, constant state of negative dynamic experience with the world, always in that negative emotional state. right? We strip these away from the fool, and the fool becomes this pure consciousness. This is ready to do anything. That everything is new and exciting and novel. Everything is fun. Everything is something to be enjoyed. So we're freeing ourselves from the shackles of that history of sort of negative emotions. Yeah. And then we're able to grow into this best life of ours. Yeah. In the past, we sometimes we think, well, the past is the past, and now, no, I haven't thought about this incident. I haven't thought about my past in years. So how could it be affecting me now? Well, we tend to see the world through the lens of these negative emotions. Why? Not by choice. Because of our history. This may have happened years ago, and you may not have thought about it in years, but it's still affecting us. It is still coloring and clouding the way we see life. This is still something that has chained us to see, trained us and chained us to see the world in a certain way. Okay? We can choose to turn this around and start to see the world in a more positive way. That we can see the world as a happy, loving, friendly place right now. And that's the universe card over here. What is your world? What is your reality? Is the world a cold and dismal and disappointing place? Or is the world a place of love and happiness and novelty and growth and healing and sustenance? We can choose what kind of experience we want to have of the world. And it's not easy, and it may not even be believed, and it may seem way too simple, but that's the Prince of Swords here in the future position. Just having this simple belief. Life doesn't have to be so complex that we can just make a commitment and say, I'm going to live a happier life. That's it. I want to live a happy life. I want to have a positive experience of the world. I don't want to feel as if this dark cloud is always looming above everything that I do, and that I end up finding some sort of disappointment or pain or sorrow in everything. We can make the choice. And again, I think it's really just about you picking up your paintbrush and just starting. Don't let maybe no, I'm no good at it. I got too much to do today. I had a bad day. I don't really want to paint today. It just seems pointless, And we end up in that kind of a mood. This is kind of just saying, you know what? This is something that I've always wanted to do. I'm going to do it right now. I feel like it's something creative or something artistic. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's dance. Maybe it's writing or drawing, painting, poetry. I don't know. Maybe it is it's some sort of a new sport, or it's a new hobby. You're going to learn a new skill. But this is the commitment to say, I'm going to do it. I don't want to let this other crap hold me back anymore. Yeah. If we always do what we've always done, we'll always get what we always got. And if we do not choose to experience the world in a better way and to create a happier life and to grow and expand and to sort of manifest the best version of ourselves, then we are pretty much choosing this instead. Not choosing is still a choice, right? And then we're going to be stuck. We're going to be stuck here too. And sometimes with this Five of Cups up here at the top, sometimes it's better to just cry. It's better to just feel what we're feeling and to be able to let it go than to try to say, that there's something wrong here. There's something that I have to sort of fight against this, And sometimes just acknowledging what all of these emotions are is going to help to put them in proper perspective. And it's okay, you know what, I had that cathartic experience, I had that sort of purge, and now I'm ready to pick up that paintbrush and I'm ready to start doing this. Or what if this is even saying that a good way for you to have this release of this negative emotional energy is to start doing the thing. Start writing, start painting, do the poetry, start dancing, go mow the lawn or whatever, as a way to purge yourself of some of this lingering emotional energy, negative emotional energy, right? To make room for the positive energy. And maybe at first you're really going to feel terrible doing what you're doing. Maybe you pick up the paintbrush and you just are having a bad time with it. It's not working. You don't like it. Keep at it. Okay, because it will give way to a happier experience, a more positive experience of life. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. So your general energy is the world itself. That we realize that the universe is going to mirror our consciousness. That what we perceive to be true, what we feel, and what we think about, and the vibe that we have, well, that's going to be the vibe we see out there. The cosmos is going to mirror you. Okay? So if we are perceiving the world as a cold and hostile place that's dark and dismal and hopeless and disappointing, that's on us. Now, I'm not victim blaming. I'm not saying that other people's actions are our fault. No, but I'm saying if we have this general dismal outlook on life, that's something that we can control. We can control how much positive energy we put out into the world in an effort to create a more positive world, right? The universe is going to mirror you. Okay? And how much nicer is life going to be when we start putting out this positive energy? When we're doing something in a positive way here. We're doing something that feels good, right? Perhaps this is the painting, or this is you. Well, get back to the drum set. Pick the guitar up again. Start singing again, or whatever it is. Start building. Go up into the wood shop and start woodworking again. Make some birdhouses or whatever you do. Beginning to do something like that ultimately, it's going to make you a more joyful person. But there's something in us that is kind of saying, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. Not that we'd rather be miserable, but there is that part of us that it's more familiar. It's easier to stay in the state we're in than it is to change course. It's easier for a car to maintain a consistent speed than for us to have to stop and turn and come back up to speed again. It takes more fuel to accelerate up to your cruising speed than it does to just stay at that cruising speed. So not that we choose to be miserable, but it's just easier to stay in that state because it's familiar. We're already there. We become good friends with it, And I kind of heard, it was Tim Robbins say something about that it's kind of like we have this friend that is always beating us up. But it's like it's our best friend. So of course, I'm going to go be with my best friend, even though every day he beats me up. Why would we continue to be friends with that person? Why would we continue? Well, because he's my best friend. And so it's not that we're choosing to be miserable, but we're not choosing to go in a different direction and have to put in the effort and energy to come up to speed doing something else that we know ultimately is going to be more happy for us. It's going to be a better way for us to live. I'm going to feel better. It's like me when I try to start exercising or something. It's just like, it's easier for me to just be lazy and keep eating what I'm eating and not do it, right? Even though I don't like that. And I know that if I start having more physical activity, I'll feel better. You know what I mean? I'll be happier. I'll have more abundance in life. But my own sort of inertia is that old friend that's just beating me up every day, but it's my best friend, But I have started exercising. I'm on the recumbent bike, I'm trying here. So anyway, the Nine of Cups is the experience of life that we really could have and that we want. We want to relate to our world in this way. We want to see the good in things. And I can choose to see happiness around me rather than heartbreak and misery. We have to intentionally create the home that we want, the life, the universe, the world that we want. Because if we don't intentionally create what we want, we are going to be unintentionally accepting what we don't want. Okay? Even no decision, still a decision. Yeah. So let's focus on happiness, the Nine of Cups. This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. This is the happiness that keeps on happening. So I feel like you're cutting off some negative emotions or realizing that things need to change, that you want a better emotional experience of life. I think you're picking up this new It's like an old new, or a new old habit, or a new old skill, or a creative endeavor, or a sport, or a martial art, or some constructive projects or whatever. You're sort of getting back into it, right? And your world is going to start looking a lot different. You're going to start feeling better. Your relationships are going to improve. There's going to be abundance now it's going to affect every plane of being. And this is simple. If you used to play the drums, go play them again. You've been wanting to for a long time. You used to be really into running or jogging or something, right? Go do it again. Get back into it, right? Whether this is painting or music or business or playing the stock market or playing Monopoly, I don't know. Go do it again. You used to do it, and get back into it, okay? And you'll find that something like that is going to affect every dimension of your life, every plane of being, from the spiritual down to the physical levels of life are going to improve. You're going to feel better, more abundance, more joy. You're doing something, you're getting back into something that's going to bring you a lot of joy. And it's going to feed every other aspect of your life too. Okay? And it's going to, the difficult thing really is going to be just that Fool card, freeing yourself from these learned emotional states. The learned, I don't want to say learned behaviors, but the learned emotions. Right? That's the most difficult part, is to free ourselves from that. And that's why we all carry this baggage with us through life. I don't care how old you are. This is always going to be with us. Right? So it's nearly impossible to completely free ourselves from this. But the more we make positive, intentional choices to live differently, to have a different experience of life, to choose more love, more abundance, this becomes kind of weaker and weaker and weaker, because we're developing new patterns, healthy patterns. Healthy patterns. Okay, what do we have here? 5, 6, 7, 8. Unhealthy patterns, unhealthy habits. The more we do not choose the alternative, the stronger these get. But once we start intentionally choosing new emotions, new relationships, new sort of joys, or even if it's by reviving an old interest, right? Once we start choosing these positive emotions, this becomes such a healthy habit that they're still there, but they're not as powerful. Okay? And that's what the Eight of Pentacles is. It's new habits, it's new behaviors that lead to new feelings and a new perception and really a new reality. We're growing a new garden here. You're growing your Empress life, your Big Rock Candy Mountain, sort of like one tomato plant at a time, And really you start to see that, wow, now I sort of worked on one tomato plant, now suddenly my garden's huge. Suddenly I'm living in paradise here, So these are positive and healthy habits. This is really just in a very generalized way saying that the more we get into the habit of choosing love and positive emotions and abundance, the less of a hold these negative feeling states and dynamics, the less effect these have on us. This habit, right, 5 and a 3 and 8, these patterns become less powerful in our life because we've replaced them slowly, over time, gradually, replacing them with more healthy and positive patterns. Okay, so we'll always have doubt. We'll always feel these things about ourselves. We'll always have these things from childhood that still kind of haunt us. They'll still be part of us. That energy is not really going anywhere. But we'll get into the positive cycles so much that it's just like, well, now I'm stuck in this. I don't know any other way, really, right? This is a good one. And so we're slowly replacing what has been an ineffective or unwanted or negative pattern with a positive and healthy pattern. But we've got to choose to do that intentionally, otherwise we are unintentionally choosing the alternative. Now let's look at the mystery card here. I want to see some real abundance here. I want to see like a 10 of Pentacles or a 10 of Cups or something like that. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Maybe another Empress? Maybe the Emperor? I don't know. Let's see. A 4 of Wands. Okay. 4 of Wands. This is the intentionality. This is a cycle, right? This kind of represents that pattern, a pattern of going out and coming home. We don't know whether this is a view of somebody returning home or if this is somebody that's sort of, are they waving hello or are they waving goodbye? Is this a bon voyage or is it a welcome home kind of greeting, right? So we realize that the motion of life, the intentionality is the only thing that we really have. If we are if we're returning home, we're coming back to a place that is familiar, right? And is our home going to be this 8 of Cups and Swords over here? Is that our home that we're returning to? Or are we going to go out and do the difficult work to create a new sort of home state, right? Which would be that 8 of Pentacles. Are we gonna grow a healthier home, right? That we can return to, that we can default to, right? A new baseline in a way, right? Because the 4 is sort of a cycle, a circle, but it's a spiral, right? It's a going out, it's a coming back. But every time we go out and come back, things are a little bit different. We're choosing growth here rather than decay. Okay, we're choosing to spiral upward rather than spiraling downward. But we have to be willing to get active, right? When we're in just the habit of the 4, we kind of need that extra push, and we got to resume something new. Let's focus on a habit that we're already somewhat familiar with, that we know is going to help us spiral upward. And this is just to get us started. It's not saying that, well, you start painting and your life's suddenly going to get infinitely better. This is just a first step, okay? We're choosing to return to something that we know has brought us joy in the past, and we're going to do it again. We're going to get back into it as a way to sort of, start pushing us in this intentional direction forward so that we can create this new home, this new baseline, rather than just always falling back into the negative dynamics. Okay. Anyway, there's a pretty powerful message for you here. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Pisces Thursday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.